Happy Friday. Welcome back to the stream. Today, I will be tackling two big tasks: speeding up our social data pipeline by saving posts immediately and figuring out why some fan profiles aren't showing up on our site, plus a quick SDK upgrade. Let's get coding. I'll get started by sharing my screen and we'll get started. We're going to start with backend APIs for Recoup. Got two tasks over here. First, store posts in agent service. And second, we want Instagram posts for the fans that we're scraping to get stored because we're not storing those right now. For the first one, store posts, let's get started by saying start chat. I'm going to open up a new one. Make sure that each day we've got fresh context. Step 58. We start by telling the AI to prepare its scratchpad so that it can go and start thinking. It's reading its rules, and now it's going to start looking over the relevant code it will need in order to implement these changes. Let's see what it's thinking through. Oh, it's not writing in its scratchpad. Make sure to update at scratchpad. There we go. We've got our first scratchpad update. Split social data in the agent service. We can see that the store social data method creates a social record, handles artist related operations, stores posts, and stores comments. That's a lot. This monolithic approach delays post availability in the UI and prevents using posts as social proof during the wrapped thinking state. Required changes: we want to add a store post method for immediate post storage and then store comments for comment storage. It's going to start by creating the store post methods, post array and a social record. It'll call set new posts and connect posts to social. And then we'll have a store comments method. Needs a comments array, a social record to attach those to, and the posts. I don't know why we need the social record. We should just need the posts and the comments. Filter comments based on valid post URLs, call save post comments, and then we'll return the stored comments array. Refactor, keep social record creation and artist operations. I don't even think we want. Is it already going? It might have already started. No. Okay, let's copy. Where did we miss? Let's step one. Step one, I think, looks good. Store posts, store comments, refactor this. Ready a method in the agent service to. I don't think it's the agent service. It is agent service. My question is if there's already a method for social record creation and artist operations. Is there already a method in the agent service to create a social and artist operations? I don't think so. If no, I think we might want to refactor store social data. Agent service class already has two methods to handle social record creation and artist operation, create social and update social. Additionally, artist related operations are currently handled in the store social data method, update agent status, set artist image, update social record with the new image, connect the social to the artist. Given this, we should create a new method, set up artist, that encapsulates the artist related operations from store social data, create a new store post and store comments method. So 3 total: set up artist, store post, store comments, refactor store social data to use these 3 methods in sequence. And instead of refactor, what deleting store social data and updating the pilot controller to call these 3 new methods as early as possible in the life cycle. Right now I'm going back and forth with the AI on what our implementation plan is going to be. I have the original idea. It's shown me how it thinks it's going to implement it. I have a couple differences of idea. And so now we're going back and forth on how we want to implement, so that when we're aligned on how we want to implement, it can then just proceed and I will have fewer feedback later on. So hopefully we spend more time upfront planning, which is going to reduce the amount of time that we spend building, reviewing, and shipping later on. Okay. That's an excellent suggestion. Analyze the approach, looking at the control flow. I strongly agree with your suggestion to delete and update to call the methods directly. The current flow, we can improve by creating 3 focused methods: set up artist, store post, store comments, updating pilot controller to call the setup artist early on, store posts as early as possible, and then only store comments is later on. Posts are stored immediately. Each operation is more focused and easier to maintain, better separation of concerns, clear error boundaries, more flexible. Status tracking is more accurate, data is available sooner. Love this. So now I'm just going to copy, update the Scratchpad to reflect this approach. It's going to go ahead and update its Scratchpad for me. And once it does, we'll get started with the implementation step. Step 1, it's going to update its Scratchpad. Lots of changes in here. Okay. Where'd it go? Split. Okay. Analysis, monolithic approach, required changes, delete the method, set up 3 new methods: set up artist, store post, store comments, update the pilot controller to call those. That sounds beautiful. Set up artist method. It's looking at some parameters from Supabase. Artist ID, social, and profile. Artist ID, social, and profile. Okay. Update agent status to setting up artist, set the artist image, update the social with the new image, connect the social to the artist, return void. Okay. Create store post method. We need a social to attach them to in the posts that were scraped. Set new posts, connect posts to the social, return the array of posts. Then we'll store the comments, social, post URL. I don't know if we need post URLs here. Artist ID, social, scraped profile. Okay, that sounds accurate. Social and posts make sense. For store comments, why are we passing in the array of post URLs instead of the DB posts with specific post IDs from Supabase? Why are we passing in the array of post URL? My current question is, why am I spending too much time thinking before going? Passing in the array of post URLs instead of DB posts. Make sure to review the required data for the, what's the method that we're going to call? Save post comments at save post comments method and the DB schema. For store comments, update the pilot controller, remove the store social data call, add in the new calls to setup artist, store comments, store posts, update the type definitions, add comprehensive logging, sure, delete legacy code, yep. It overall looks good. I'm mostly just verifying the last little bits. Save post comments needs comments, just comments. From the database schema, you're absolutely right. We should pass the DB post array. Unnecessary data by passing the URLs. Save post comments has to make an additional database query to get the post IDs, even though we already have them from store posts. Data consistency, using the actual DB post object ensures that we're working with the exact post that we just stored. And type safety, using the database types provides better type checking. So it's going in and updating. It eliminates unnecessary Supabase queries, enforces type safety, data consistency, and performance by reducing database load. Let's see what was changed. This time, very small things were changed in the Scratchpad. First, we're passing in DB posts instead of post URLs. Filter comment based on post IDs. We'll accept it. I think I'm now getting into the nitty-gritty, so let's let this run on its own. Proceed with implementing. We'll proceed with implementing. First, let's search for the current implementation and understand the exact code that we need to refactor. Based on the code search, I can see the full implementation of store social data and how it's used. Let's proceed with implementing the 3 new methods and updating the pilot controller. I'll start with creating the new methods. A lot of code changed here. We've got a setup artist method. I'm going to just accept it for now. Setup artist method. Set the artist image. Update the social. Connect artist to social. We've got a store post method. Cannot find name scraped post. We set new posts, connect the posts to social, and then we've got a store comments method. Looks like that's a duplicate. We already had one. We're just going to accept the changes for now. Store comments calls the save post comments function. Since save post comments doesn't return the stored comments, we'll consider success as an empty array. Can you update at save post comments to return the successful data? And now it's going and playing around inside of pilot controller. Looks like now we call scraper.scrape profile. A lot's changing in here. Scrape profile, and then we create social, update agent status, set up artist. It's doing big changes. Create agent status, scrape a profile, update a social, scrape posts, scrape comments, update agent status, and then we set up artist, and then we store posts, and then we store comments. That doesn't feel right. I guess I'm going to move these because it was taking, well, yeah, I think store posts. We'll start with this one. Can you move both of these calls as close as early as possible in the function lifecycle so the data is available in Supabase as soon as is available? Let's see what it's doing. I've told it to update save post comments to return results. The results, it looks like it has data, which is a database comment or an error. I'm liking it. Only include comments where we have a social ID. Where are comments coming from? Were we already doing that? We were already doing that. Okay, so let's keep that there if that's already the case. DB post comment. Do we already have this type defined somewhere else? Maybe. Let me, where's save post comments being used? Save post comments is being called, oh, interesting, it's called in a few places. Save post comments is called here. This is looking good. Looking good overall. Let's send out this next message. to get the storing done as early as possible inside of Pilot Controller. Reading over the agent service right now. Let's delete some of these. We're no longer updating agent status anywhere, but I think we were doing that before. Were we? Gonna redo all the changes. I don't want to change this. I want to let the AI cook. And I'm feeling a little bit of lag right now in the build. So let's close this and don't save. Don't save. Pilot Controller is being updated. We've just moved store posts right after scrape posts. Love that. And we're updating the agent status here. We've hopefully added setup artist as soon as we scrape the profile. Is setup artist already calling update social is one question I have. And then we delete it all from down here. And all that we do is store comments, and store comments is called right after scrape comments. So scrape profile, we'll scrape posts. Setup artist, does setup artist already call update social? Setup artist, set artist image, it's already calling update social. Setup artist already calls update social, right? Do we need that call to agent service dot update service before we call agent service dot setup artist? Do we need that call to before we call instead of do we need, what is the value in, yeah. What's the value in the call? Instead of do we need, just ask what the value is to help it explain to me what the value is that it added it. Like, why is it adding this call? Let me check the setup artist implementation to verify. Yes, you're right. Looking at the implementation, it already calls it. The separate call to update social is redundant since it's already going to call it with the same profile data. Setup artist actually does a better job by handling the artist image upload and connection. Let's remove the redundant code. Remove that call over there. We're now only calling, what? Oh, only if there's not an artist ID, then we call update social. That makes sense. Interesting. Now let's ask this additional way. Would it be simpler to move the check for artist ID as an optional parameter for agent service.setup artist? Move the check as an optional parameter instead of handling the logic for using, instead of handling the logic in at Pilot Controller. Let's see what it thinks about that suggestion. I'm now getting into minor tweaks and we still haven't tested it. That would be a better design. It follows a single responsibility principle by encapsulating all social update logic within the agent service. That's what I'm hoping for. Let's keep the pilot. The pilot is just calling the service. First, it's updating the agent service. Artist ID is now optional. New image. So we always update social. That should always happen. We try getting a new image. Only if there is an artist ID, we do some things. And so in this case, we don't have like an else. Oh, update with the new image. So we call update social twice here. Set artist image. Okay. That makes sense. Is update social ever called then? I think in any case, we're going to be setting up artists. Okay. Let's think of where we're at, where we're trying to go. Let me get the correct notebook open. Recoup. Our goal is to fix the missing fans for T Grizzly overall. Right now, I'm trying to save the post sooner so that we're storing data as soon as it's available to make it faster for us to verify the results of scraping. Let's run through what happens when we process a platform. So we say, hey, I want to scrape a new platform. We pass in the platform the handle that we want to scrape. We get a scraper. We create the social. We then create the agent status. Then we scrape the profile. Then we update the agent status. Then we set up the artist. Not existing social, failed to create a social record. Created social record, creating agent status. Okay, so we need the social ID before we create the initial agent status. That's why we create it up top first. Then we scrape the profile, update the status. And then we set up the artist. Once we've set up the artist, we update the agent status, and then we scrape the posts. Then we store the posts. Then we update the agent status. And then we scrape the comments. And then we store the comments. And then we update the agent status. And that's it. This seems like it's doing everything that I had wanted it to do. Let's see if it, what did we change in global controller? Maybe just more debugging. Let's check out what we did in global controller. Global controller, what was changed here? I think it was just logging, but let's check again. Log, 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 log. Yeah, it looks like only logs were added to the global controller, so we're fine with that. Let's run this. Spent a lot of time just preparing, so let's try pnpm start. And let's try finally running this. I need to get Postman open. It looks like I don't have it open, so we'll open up Postman. The scraping takes a long time for T Grizzly. And so what I will do is I'll test it first with my profile because I have way less engagement than T Grizzly does. And then we'll start by testing, unless there's someone engaging in the comments, but I'm not seeing anybody engaging right now. And instead of testing myself, let's test one of our power. Let's try Scrape. Well, Coinbase is also a really big account. Coinbase Dev is a smaller account. Let's try Coinbase. But Coinbase Dev, do they have an Instagram? Coinbase has an Instagram. I'm thinking through a lot right now which account we want to test with. And instead of thinking so much, I think I'm just going to test with my own account to reduce the amount of cycles I'm spending. Okay, let's get a Brave browser open. I don't have one over here, so I'll open up. Boop. make it full screen. And what I need is to go to chat.recoupable.com. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get the info from my profile, and I'm just going to copy and paste it into Postman to make it easy. Come over here to chat. We've already got a post for AgentKit run. I've currently plugged in all of T-Grizzly's information. And so now I can select my profile, Sweetman.eth, copy the artist ID, use the artist ID in our API request, get the TikTok handle, all that I need is the handle, TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter. Send the request. We get back an agent ID, and now it should be running. Let's watch. Okay, so where did it start? Starting the agent run, validated request, created the new agent, started the background processing of Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok, saying that it's now processing Instagram, processed the platform, creating the social record, processing platform for Twitter, created scraper for Twitter, processing the Twitter platform for Sweetman, created the social record, processing the platform for TikTok, storing parallel platform processing, social record created for TikTok, social record created for Twitter, social record created for Instagram, scraping the profile for TikTok, scraping the profile for Instagram, scraped profile successfully for Twitter, setting up the artist for Twitter, updating the social record for Twitter, social record updated for Twitter, started scraping for either TikTok or Instagram, I'm not sure which, social record updated, artist setup complete, fetching posts for Twitter, profile successfully scraped for TikTok. It is setting up the artist for TikTok, updated the social record for TikTok. It's now scraped successfully for Instagram, social record updated for TikTok, updating the social record for Instagram, set for Instagram, social record updated for Instagram. So we've updated all the profiles already. Artist setup was complete for Instagram. It should have also been complete for TikTok. Updating social record updated successfully. Artist setup complete for TikTok. We're now fetching posts for TikTok. We should also be fetching posts for Instagram. We're fetching posts for both of them. Here's all the Instagram posts we got back. Looking good. And then it's connecting those posts to social. And then it's fetching comments for the posts. Comments fetched successfully. Seems like I don't have that many comments. Filtering valid comments. All of the comments were valid. Instagram authors, Sammy Wave, Simply Set the Power, Steph Guerrero. Those sound like people who would be commenting on my info. Whole bunch of tweets. Waiting for Apify. Okay, so it just finished scraping TikTok with 10 posts. These are all my TikTok videos that it scraped. It was able to connect those posts to social. And now it's going through the processing of the Instagram profiles, storing them all. We got all their profiles. We saved the profiles, final mappings, Instagram, Twitter. It looks like it all finished, and then it went into segment generation. And now it's generating my segments. And now there's some social batching that it's doing for iterating over everybody to group them into segments. And it's finishing up the last batching right now of segment grouping. And once we finish batching all of these segments, it will finish. Seems like most of my fans are either Digital Renaissance or Base. So these are the segments we got. Web3 music developers, crypto artist collectives, on-chain AI builders, Base blockchain enthusiasts, Digital Renaissance creators, Farcaster social network users, Daoist governance participants, smart wallet early adopters, Latin American Web3 community, digital notification minimalists, on-chain ecosystem builders, Web3 music distribution pioneers, cross-chain identity developers. I'm happy. It looks correct. Let's get this shipped. Ship faster. Let's keep going. Add it all. Open up my roadmap. I get nervous when making big changes, and that's normal. Let's keep shipping to not allow our emotions to distract us from the goal. API post, missing post from Supabase. I don't know if we're on the right branch. Let's go to our Brave browser. Move the tab over here. Store posts. Let's copy the branch name. We copy. I expect a toast in the bottom right, and I'm not seeing one. Click the copy. There we go. Now we got our branch copied. Checkout to. Create the new branch. Let's publish the branch, and then we'll pull from main. Pull from. Make it from main. Looks like there were no changes in main. This should now be complete. We'll put an X in it, and let's get started with our review. Head over to GitHub /recoupable /recoup agent APIs. Auto prompted to open up the pull request. Create that pull request. Copy it and go to Slack. Slack's open on a different tab. Moving it over here so y'all can see it. Switching over to my main dev channel. And going into code review. Oh, whoops. Oh wait, yeah, that's fine. Go into code review and we'll say hashtag, this is for Recoup. And let's get the ticket pasted in here as well. Go to the ticket, copy the ticket name, paste the ticket name, and with the word ticket, and then we copy the ticket link and hyperlink the word ticket to the ticket itself. We hit enter, and now our review has started. From here, I want to show some examples of how we know it worked. And one example is when we get the posts, we save them immediately. So we can see, maybe Instagram's a good example. Fetch post successfully. Yeah, fetch posts immediately turns into posts are now stored instantly after being scraped. Add a little lightning bolt emoji. Let's verify in prod that I still have those fans. So I'll go to /posts, and I should see a ton of posts from my account. We're loading longer than I would have expected. Let's try it again. There we go. Okay, we got a whole bunch of tweets. January 30th, I'm seeing a whole lot. Anything more recent? January 30th, January 30th. Overall, I think I want to change the ordering of how, or at least add an ordering option into the API so that way we can order by earliest first. So right now it's going to show me 1,000 posts on Twitter. Let's check out my segments to verify. I think I can just go to segments and that should be a good representation of how my fans were grouped. Digital Renaissance creators is my biggest. Let's take a screenshot of this. This is proving to me that I'm still scraping all my fans. Oh, going the wrong way. Get my photo, add it. Segments still looking valid. Let's get this shipped. Do I want to run it once with T-Grizzly? I don't think I do. I already know this is working. Let's ship it and move on. Before we ship, we want to actually review the code. This is where I become a stickler and get into my high horse of quality that I enforce. We're allowing console logs inside of this repo to help us with debugging. Log. Just a bunch of logs in this file, that's fine. Inside of the pilot controller, we get a clean handle. Like, I don't know why we changed from replace all to just replace. Let's roll that back inside of pilot controller. Move U, get cursor. Go to pilot controller. We change the replace that's up top with replace all. Do we have any other replace calls? This is the only one. Replace to replace, replace all, commit and push. Did it push? It pushed. Should hopefully roll back line 244, should now have no, it should be delta neutral, no change. Okay, awesome. We're now processing platform, existing social. We're not worrying about an error anymore, only if not existing social. Existing social.id. Updated a log to add a username, update the agent status to setting up artist. And then we set up the artist, beautifully clean. And then in here is where we get the posts. So we scrape posts. Before we waited a whole bunch of time before storing the posts. Now posts are stored right after they're scraped. Let me add a screenshot of that as well. Scrape to store. Scrape posts immediately followed by store posts. SAP with a floppy. We don't need this comment for store posts. I don't know if we need any of these. Create social record first, get platform specific. Helper function to process a platform. Yeah, none of these are really helpful comments. Helper function to update all agent statuses. Is this ever called? Oh, it is. Process platform is the function I'm actually wanting. Process platform. Helper function to check if all platforms are complete. Consider both finished. Is it run agent? What's the function I want actually? Let's find all these double forward slash. I don't think any of them are needed. I'm fine with dev comments, but these validate at least one handle exists. No handles provided. I mean, the console message is create an agent. It said it right there. We don't need to have the comment. Return agent ID immediately. That's fine. Process platforms in the background, that's also fine. Create agent status with social ID, we can see that pretty clearly. Scrape profile, that's seen in the logging. Fetch posts, also seen in the logging. Store posts immediately. I deleted all the code. Run, process, store posts immediately. Fetch the comments is obvious. Anything that's obvious, based like store comments, we see that in the function name. Our code's already human readable. Continue execution even if comment storage fails. Okay. Don't throw here. We want to continue to other platforms. Okay. Process each platform. Wait for other platforms to be processed. That makes sense. Generate segments if all platforms are complete. If all platforms are complete, start segment generation. It's already defined clearly there. Save. What else do we have? Run it immediately, process in the background, don't throw here. I'm happier with this. Pilot controller, remove dev comments, commit this change and push the change. Let's go back to our code review and see if we are happier with this component. We're still on reviewing pilot controller. Did it already refresh? All right, we've deleted a whole bunch of comments while adding in new logs. The main change is we now have a setup artist function, we have a store post function, and we have a store comments function. All these changes look great. Pilot controller I'm happy with. Agent service, we now have a scrape post types. Store comments, we now have setup artist. I don't think we have a store comment. Well, we do. We just moved it down to the bottom. Store posts and store comments. Store comments before was up top. I do think it makes sense moving it down to the bottom. Setup artists. Always update the social record. If artist ID is provided, set up the artist connection. Update the social record again with the new image. Store posts. It's calling set new posts. And then it connects the post to social. And finally, we have store comments. Filter comments based on valid post IDs. That is redundant, but I'll ignore it. I don't want to be too hypercritical. We've got more logging, and that's it. This one looks acceptable. Get artist posts from Supabase. We've added more logging. We've added logging, and that seems like potentially all that we've done. Only logs so far. Only logs. We only added logs to get artist posts, so that's fine. Get posts by IDs. So far, only logs I'm observing. Only logs in this. Get social posts by IDs. We've got more console logs. So far, I've only seen console logs in here. Only console logs. Save post comments. This one, we've added a return object, a response object, which we did not have before. And then we return the data if we got it. So this one we did actually update, but only to add in a response. And we've updated agent types for setup artist, store posts, and store comments. Store comments was changed. Where's store comments called? Is it only called by the pilot controller? Store comments. Pilot controller calls it. Agent service defines it. The types also defines it. That seems like it's valid. So changes look good to me. Let's ship it and move on. Merge the pull request into main. We have just shipped our first pull request of the day. We're now storing posts inside of agent service, making it faster for the storage that we're doing to reduce the amount of errors, increase our efficiency, and increase our speed for scraping. Now we want to go on to the next task. This one's going to be way more, maybe not challenging, but it's a net new feature. Move on to the next task. Let's copy the image to the clipboard. Let's rearrange some of these so that it's easier for me to navigate. Open up roadmap. Close everything that's not roadmap. For step 59, I've attached an image showing a log where I saw that we are already getting back the posts from a fan when we scrape them in the enhance Instagram function flow. Added the image. Please prepare your Scratchpad for step 59. I've attached an image showing a log where I saw that we are already getting back the posts from a fan when we scrape them in the enhance Instagram flow. Is only for Instagram and does not apply to TikTok, Twitter, or the other social platforms. For Instagram, it does not apply to TikTok, Twitter, or other social platforms. All sounding good to me. Let's send it and see what happens. The question is, do we have a social record for the fans? We should have a social record for the fans. So first we set the social record, and then we store the posts, then we store the social posts, and then we store the comments. It's going to run through sequential thinking, one of its many MCP tools that it has access to. MCP tools are really having a moment right now. We just saw that Vercel released Vercel AI SDK version 4.2, or maybe it's 14.2, which now includes reasoning as well as MCP tool calls, both of which are big level ups for using the Vercel AI SDK. Hopefully during this live stream, we will also be updating that package. That's actually the next task. We will not be adding an MCP calling nor reasoning for now. The main reason being right now, we are using LangGraph as our agentic layer for the chat. And if we want to use the reasoning or the MCP tools, we will need to remove LangGraph and use Vercel AI SDK. So right now we're not doing that, but we're open to it. And it's going to be something that we'll start thinking through now to see if we want to make that change. Making any changes to the code. Don't get started yet. I don't know what its plan is. I want to verify its plan before it starts. Back into sequential thinking. I've created a detailed plan. Update at Scratchpad. Why is this so challenging for you to understand? You should be starting by updating your Scratchpad, and then there we go. Now you're finally updating your Scratchpad. Took multiple prompts to get here, but we have at least arrived. Close others. This file is starting to get pretty long, so I'm gonna delete, once it updates its Scratchpad, I'll delete everything before line 500. I'll get rid of the latest 500 lines of code. Let's make sure that it stopped thinking to make sure I'm not deleting. Now search to understand its current implementation. Okay, so it's gonna get started. Let's find line 500. 469 looks like the line we're looking for. So everything before, it's now updating its Scratchpad. Make sure I save it before it does. Let's see if I caught it before it does its update. Fan profiles are enhanced using Apify to scrape. Receiving latest posts in the response. Post data is currently being ignored. Store post method already exists. Post storage logic is already implemented. Database tables and relationships are already set up. Required changes. Enhanced Instagram profiles. Function signature updates. Whoa, bunch of changes in here. Current flow. Fan profiles are enhanced. Get profiles fetches latest posts. Get formatted account already formats and returns profile URL. Post data is currently being ignored. Now that we have a detailed plan, let's look at how the caller code to understand how we need to update it. I'll search for that based on the review. I can already see we need to make changes in two main files: enhance Instagram to add the post storage functionality, and enhance authors with avatar to pass the required parameters. It's going to get started with its plan already, so it's already getting started in the build. I'm excited to see what changes it makes, hoping that it keeps them pretty minimal. What's nice is I don't necessarily need to know. Part of me is like, well, I don't know if I fully understand its changes yet, but what's nice about this flow is I don't necessarily need to. I can spend more cycles thinking about the plan and the verification of the plan and allow the AI to step up to the plate and make some attempts. And I can just verify and not worry about overthinking on the planning side. Looks like it just made its first change. I'm going to do a quick push. Let's see what it changed. So we're now passing in not just profiles, agent service, and social records. Ooh. I don't know that I like that we're expanding this. How are we expanding this? If social record, .get username, then we store the posts in the agent service. I would prefer if enhance Instagram profiles returns those profiles, and then we have an additional step afterwards. Because what are we even doing here? We're trying to call store posts. And then over here, inside of enhance authors with avatar, we're trying to get the existing Instagram authors. And we're looking it up by username, which also doesn't make sense. Because username could be different based off of the platform. Like, if I look up Gary Vee, it's going to give me back both TikTok Gary Vee, Instagram Gary Vee, and Twitter Gary Vee if we're only looking it up on username. Social records, and then we call enhance Instagram profiles with that info. Yeah, I don't like how we're doing this. I'm going to suggest we do not make changes to, it's still thinking. Based on the code review, we need to make a few adjustments. Are we already passing the service into here? We're not even passing the service into here. So I don't think we should be making changes to any of this. All the updates we've made to @enhance Instagram profiles or @enhance authors with avatars. Reasons I don't like it. Passing agent service as a param. Expanding simple functions to be more complex. No longer following single responsibility principle. I suggest the following changes. @enhance Instagram profiles, return the post URLs. @enhance authors with avatar, add post URLs to the response. Where is enhance authors with avatars called? This is called inside of get or create comment socials. So this is all just for the comments. Oy. Username map, new socials. We're then creating the socials. Oy. Do I make this a minimal change, or do I make bigger changes than I was expecting to make this overall simpler? Add post URLs to the response. Create or get comment socials. @create or get comment socials. Remove logic to call @create socials. And return, where's create or get comment socials being called? It's being called inside of save post comments. Oh my goodness. Save, all of this is for comments. And return the updated, return the enhanced profiles. Like all this is being done inside of comments. Create or get comment socials. We're creating the socials there. Okay, let me try to make fewer changes. I'm trying to make a pretty big change. But I do think this needs to be, does this need to be a save post comments is not just saving the comments. We're putting the comments here. This is going to be a lot. I'm going to try a big change to see if we can do it. Save post comments. @save post comments. Remove call to @create or get social comments. Return the save post comments. Where's this being called? I'm trying to get back up to agent service. There we go. Finally. This is all inside of store comments. And store comments is being called. @agent service comments. Is it returning anything? Returning the stored comments. So I don't think we need to make any changes to agent service. Whoa. Now let's say at pilot controller, new step after pilot controller. So the pilot controller is going to be saving the comments. Scrape, agent status, process platform, create social, scrape profile, scrape posts, scrape comments, store comments. New step after store comments for enhance, we'll call it scrape and store comment socials at agent service. Do we need a new task in there? These are a lot of suggestions, so please update your Scratchpad first and let me know if there's anything I'm not considering in the feedback I'm giving you. And let me specifically tag Scratchpad just to make sure it knows what I'm talking about. I'm asking it for a pretty large change. So let's see if it actually knows how to do that. Hey, Kalani. How you doing today? You in a playful mood? You want to play? It's thinking. I can take a couple seconds and play with you. What do you think, baby? Is that? Preste mi atención, ahora lo tienes. ¿Quieres jugar conmigo? ¿Qué piensas, mi amor? Bad. I see your little head looking back and forth in the reflection, looking up, doing nothing. It's okay. If you don't want to play right now, I'll keep it out. And if you come back, just let me know and we'll play some more. How are we doing? All right, let's check out the Scratchpad. I've analyzed your suggestions and added a detailed breakdown. The analysis covers current implementation, detailed proposed changes, benefits, technical considerations, clear path. Your suggestions make a lot of sense because they follow the single responsibility principle, create clear data flows, make dependencies more explicit, improve testability, and make the code more maintainable. The only potential consideration I see is that we'll need to carefully handle the transition since these changes touch multiple files. I agree. However, the benefits outweigh this temporary complexity. Would you like me to proceed with implementing these changes? In the order outlined in the Scratchpad, we can start with updating the type definitions and then work through each file systematically. It's going to be a big change. Let's accept it and read through. So we're refactoring. Violation of single responsibility principle. Enhance Instagram profiles now handles both profile enhancement and post storage. Enhance artist authors with avatar manages too many concerns. Functions have become more complex than necessary. Problematic parameter passing agent. I'm just going to have it start, and I'll keep reviewing. Proceed with implementing these changes in the order outlined in the Scratchpad. There's my baby. She is a playful girl. Problematic parameter passing. Okay, my baby wants to play. I'm gonna go play with her. You want to play? Where'd your ball go? Where'd it go? Want another try? The thing about Kalani is that she's not a kitty that says, "Oh, I'll play with you," and then once I get the toy, we'll keep going. She's like, "Once I get the toy, it's my toy and nobody else gets it." How we doing over here? Let's start watching the changes it's making. Start implementing. Social type is defined in multiple places, but the main definition is in types. Agent, let's create our enhanced types first. Enhanced social is social with post URLs. Enhanced profile results is that, okay. Now we've updated our types. Let's update enhanced Instagram profiles. A promise with enhanced profiles of just social. Now it's enhanced profile result. I don't know that we need to define this type in a different file, but that's fine. Enhanced social, create a mapping. And now from the results, okay. Enhance author avatar with avatars. We're now using the enhanced social We're returning that enhance authors with avatar. Only type changes here. Enhance TikTok authors. Enhance TikTok authors is going to do enhance profiles. It's going to map it. And now we're just doing ... on the profile. I don't know that we want this to be TikTok. There you are. Hi, you still got energy? Oh, did you get it stuck to your little paw? Did you get it stuck to your little paw? Yeah. Okay, I'm allowing myself to get a little bit distracted from work. Let's come back because this is a big task that I'm trying to do. Type change, new line. Same thing. Deleting the unused imports, deleting the unused type definition, which then leads to one more unused import. Save this. Let's keep checking. Okay, this file has been done. Let me fix the linter errors. Now let's update, create, or get comment socials. We're no longer upserting. We're now only extracting unique authors from the comments and enhancing. I don't even know that we want to be enhancing the comments in this function. So before we were passing in, we were getting back usernames, and now we're getting comment social results. Return, enhance profiles. And okay, this is a step I think we missed. We want to remove enhance authors with avatar. Let's see how much more we do. Save post comments is now taking comments and social map of username string to string. Save post comments is no longer calling get or create comment socials. I like this. One less call. We're no longer, this function is save post comments. All it should be doing is saving the comments. Supabase from posts, we get the posts. And then we post comments, we select. Where are we actually storing? We have a select. Where are post comments saved? Oh, here it is, upsert. Post comments we're upserting. So this is the main call that we wanted to make. This file looks great. So what this file is doing now, save post comments. We get the post URLs. There's an extra call. We should be removing this. we format the comments, and then we save the comments. And so does this mean that we want to save the socials before let's keep moving. And now we're in Pilot Controller. What did we change in Pilot Controller? Start up at the top. Scrape and store comment socials is a new function. Scrape and store comment socials. Sounds correct. We get a bunch of scraped comments. We get the unique authors from those comments. We then create a social for that comment. It's okay. Let's go down to the next set. What I don't like about it is it seems like it's doing them one at a time, and I want to think through how we better batch the updates. Scrape and store comment socials happens after we scrape the comments. And then we scrape comments. We scrape the comments. We should then store the comments. And after we store the comments, we should update the comment socials. Is that right? We need to scrape the comments first. That gives us our list of comments. Once we have our list of comments, I don't like the long time we have to wait between, okay, we have our comments, but those comments are not saved inside of the database. Social map, missing comments is not a step. So we'll remove that and accept the change that I just made. Accept this. Have we accepted everything, or are there still more changes that we have not accepted? We removed save post. We added save post comments. Okay. Let's keep scrolling, see what else. Let me fix the linter errors. Looks like it tried to fix some linter errors. We need to update the agent service, store comments, agent service types, social map. Okay, sure. Agent service, store comments. Okay, it applied all of the changes. Let's review from top down what it's doing inside of Pilot Controller. Run agent, save parse, create agent, and then we've got the process platform. Process platform is the main function. Update all agent status. Do these need to be defined inside of the function? Process platform is the main function I'm interested in. We get a scraper, replace, create social, get profile, update the agent status, scrape a profile, set up the artist, scrape the posts, store the posts, scrape the comments, then we get the socials, and then we store comments. My question is, can we store the comments before scraping the socials? Let's check out Supabase. The thing is, we need to have a social profile for a comment before it gets saved into Supabase. And so I think we need to create the socials first with empty data. That way they can be linked to the comments. And then after the comments have been created, the goal is to create those comments as soon as possible. Then we have a step to scrape and backfill those social accounts, and we'll already know the exact socials that we need to scrape and update. So I'm leaning towards that option. So let's highlight that. Store comments, up to scrape comments. We the flow of events. So comments are stored immediately after being scraped. Then after the comments are stored, we can scrape and store the comment socials. Created in order to store the comments, create those initial social records with the data you have without waiting for the enhanced social data, period. After those initial social records have been created so that the comments can be stored, then we can scrape those comment socials first, followed by saving the enhanced social profiles for each of those comment profiles. Let's see if it captured everything I said. To reflect your new implementation plan. Hi, Solana, do you want to play too? You want to play too, my little kitty? Good catch. Beautiful catch, my darling. Good catch. You done already? You done already? Oh, there's my Astro. I'll ask you. You let go of the ball so that I can keep playing with you as I love. Oh, nice. Good jump. Can you give me another jump like that? Can you give me one more jump? Solana. Good job. Good job. Back to coding. Let's see. No, it didn't do any thinking because it was waiting on me to accept the tool calls. You hate to see it. The biggest blocker was me. Four tool calls back to back. 5 tool calls back to back. Okay, it's not updating its Scratchpad, but it's going to start right off the bat. Updating. Let's see what happened. Create initial comment socials. And then it's creating a social for the username and profile URL. Easy. And then we have enhance comment socials. And then we enhance authors. It's already feeling better. Create initial comment socials. Create social. And then enhance comment socials. Enhances the avatars. Scraped profile. I've not reviewed this bottom section yet. So down here, we create the initial comment socials, and then we store the comments, and then we enhance the comment socials. Perfect. That sounds perfect. What other changes is it making? All right. Create initial socials. I don't think anything's changing here. And then we've got our enhanced comment socials where we enhance the authors. And then we update social in a loop. If there's a possibility for us to do that in bulk, we want to do that in bulk. And then down here, we store the comments. We create initial comment socials, and then we store the comments. And then we enhance the comment socials. Let's accept this. Let's see what other files were updated. The step. We had a missing post and a missing comments. I don't know that we want this. I'm going to remove missing comments. Let's go back and find the missing comments and remove this. Let's just ignore. Okay. All right. Process platform now scrapes the comments, creates the initial comment socials, stores the comments, and then enhances the comment socials. Much more refined. Let's see what create initial comment socials does. This will create a social. In a loop. So we've gotten a weight inside of a loop. Do we have create socials? We do have a create socials method. Why not use that? This for loop with a weights inside of it with one single call to at create socials. Is it possible to replace this for loop with a weights inside of it with one single call to create social? Let's see what it thinks. What is create social even doing here? Create social. What is this doing? Create social gets the platform, formats the social data, and then it calls create social. Like, do we even need this? Yes, we can definitely optimize by using the create socials function instead of making individual calls. Let me help you refactor this code. Let's see what we did. So if we import create socials, we get rid of the for loop, we map the correct formatting, and then we create socials with the authors. Expects a full social type, but we're only providing a subset of fields. Let's update the create socials function to accept partial. Yeah, it should be able to accept partial social records, but this looks correct. So let's check out the Supabase function. Minimal social needs a username and a profile URL, and we should be good. This looks great to me. Accept the file. Now my question is, can we just delete this create social function? This create social function from the agent service and just directly referenced the create social function that we already have inside of the Supabase libs. What would happen if we deleted this create social function from the agent service from at agent service and just directly reference the at create social and at create socials function? Well, we don't even need the singular. We could just do it with the plural, you know? The create socials function that we already have inside of the Supabase libs. To analyze the current usage, create social is called by Pylink controller during process platform to create a single social for the main profile being scraped. It's essentially a wrapper around it and adds logging and error handling. We could use the create social since it already handles the batch operations, error, type safety, required changes, the return type would change slightly. We'd get a social map instead of a single social. Let me show you how we could do this change. Looks like it's going to go ahead and implement it. Whoops, want to review it a little bit deeper. Social ID instead of, okay, nice. Let's accept and see if it fixes. Now we're looking good. Let's start with the first set of errors. It looks like the only error is that we have it duplicated, this occurrence of social map. Okay, Google. Play electronic music for gaming playlist. Okay, Google, play the Spotify playlist electronic gaming music. Let's add the missing properties to existing social with null values. A ver. We're going to be getting rid of one more function. Also need to update the type to note that we no longer have this function. We set up an artist, store posts, store comments. Those seem like great things to be doing inside of the agent service. Create social method's been removed. Let's start at the top and work our way down inside of process platform, singular. Get scraper, replace all. We first create socials for one single social, which is the artist. Main social map. Create the agent status. Existing social is being used where? Let's see what create socials is doing. It's returning create social response. Social map from a username string to a string. returning a social map instead of the array of socials that we created? Question mark. Wouldn't it be more informative to the calling function if it had access to the entire social records which were created? Question mark. Social map instead of the array of socials that we created. Wouldn't it be more informative to the calling function if it had access to the entire social records which were created? I think that's a valid question. Let's see what it has to say about that. Oh, we got our first comment of the day. What's up? Hey, Joshy's back. We got Joshy on YouTube. Joshy, first time seeing you in a long time. Today we're working on AI agents, and the specific implementation is scraping social data. And right now I'm reorganizing our scraper to have a more robust and maintainable architecture. How you doing on your side? What are you building out today? Are you coding right now, or are you just hanging out at home? Loving the flow state, eating lunch, being lazy, and studying today. Are you a student, or are you just studying because you enjoy studying? Eating lunch, yeah, it's about lunchtime. All that I'm eating are Medialunas, some like crescent rolls for today, and I'm drinking mate, so I have not gotten any good food into me yet. I drank some orange juice that I squeezed this morning, so that was a decent start. So far, just shipping code. I'll probably be shipping code until the end of the day, and at that time, I'll cook. But my plan is to be locked into a flow state and just keep coding until the end of the day. I'll probably be live pretty much all day. I've got a live stream in, I believe, 45 minutes, either 45 minutes or an hour and 45 with my co-founder, Sid, our weekly review. And then I've got another live stream with an Argentinian named Juanpi, and we'll be vibe coding on Talent Protocol with Base. I think it'll be his first vibe code session. So 3 live streams today. If you're tuned in right now, you're watching the first live stream. This is me in my own coding practice. After this, I'm going to have a live stream with Sid, my co-founder, where we'll talk about Recoup, one of the products that we're building, in our weekly check-in. And then I've got another live stream with Juanpi, and we'll be vibe coding a new app from start to finish using Talent Protocol and the e-commerce template inside of Coinbase's set of templates. And it looks like Yashi is watching and learning from me. And it sounds like Yashi is not a student. Yashi is just wanting to be a better programmer. Yashi, if you're studying, what do you recommend for other coders? What does your practice look like for studying code that you practice in order to be a better coder? Are you doing leak code? Does watching me constitute studying code? What is your practice look like? What are some tools you could share that are in your practice so that I can highlight it here for other devs or young devs to follow? You're crushing it. Looks like I'll be with you all day today. Rad, nice. Well, if you do stay in, we'll keep interacting, and anytime you don't want us to highlight you, just let me know, or don't let me know. Just stop commenting and I'll stop highlighting you. Yeah, Sid and I are live every single day. It's been a slow shift in my practice to anytime I'm doing something, just make it live, whether it's coding practice, meetings, my daily practice. I've even been thinking on Monday when I go and I do my Ashtanga yoga practice and nobody's in the class because nobody shows up on Mondays. I was even thinking about during that session to live stream that, to just like keep expanding the surface area of us being live and building in public. But for now, I know you're in study mode, so I'll go back to my coding mode. It looks like we got stuck here. So let's try sending this again. And I'm not happy with the current music, so let's try to change it to something more aligned with what I want to be hearing. Okay. Ah, nice. It'll return both. That makes more sense. That way it'll still support the same use case of anybody that's relying on the map. And we also return the full social data so that if we need access to all that social data, we still have it and we're not throwing it out the window. Create socials, returns object containing social map, socials, and error. Before we just had social map and error, now we've got social map, error, and socials. And now we're getting all that social data instead of just the ID and the username. And then we return all that data. Perfect. And then instead of pilot controller, we can now to use the actual social data instead of only the mapping. While it's doing that, I'm going to try to find some music, gaming. There's a gaming section. Let's find a good mix. Assassin's Creed. Made for Gamers playlist is what I'm looking through. Tony Hawk, Sim's Birthday, Minecraft Essentials. Is Minecraft what I'm looking for? I'm looking for something that's got like solid bass right now. Something that lights up my heart. Popular gaming playlists. Maybe power gaming is what I'm looking for. Oh, interesting. Got a lot of rap in here. I'm looking for electronic. Check out this one. There we go. It's a whole bunch of electronic artists I'm not familiar with. This is what I'm looking for. All right. What are we doing? Is it even using? It's not even using the social map. Get rid of it. All right. Let's review this process platform again. We create the socials. We get back that social info. We get the first social for the existing social. We create the agent status. Then we scrape the profile. Update the agent status. Then we set up the artist with that scraped info. Then we scrape the posts. Then we scrape the comments. Then we store the comments. And then we enhance the comment socials. And then we finish. I'm happy with how this is looking. I feel like I've spent a lot of time preparing this. So let's try running it. Crash the server, pnpm start. Turning down the volume a little bit so that I'm not shouting over here. Okay. All right, so while we're getting the server up and running, we got some feedback from Joshi. So if you are trying to learn how to code and you want some help, we've got Joshi right here to tell us more about what their process is. How can I change the layout? Customize, move me up top so that you can see me. All right. One, Joshi uses multiple resources like Mimo, SoloLearn, and recently Enki to test themselves. They write code that's above their understanding to push themselves and extend to the next level instead of just staying with where they're comfortable. Then they try to code stuff that they like instead of just coding boring things. Write as much code as they can. So really trying to put themselves in those reps of executing. It's not going to make it good, but it will solidify knowledge faster by increasing the amount of iterations that you're taking during one single attempt to practice. Only rely on AI for things that you know. Don't use it to generate new knowledge. Only use it to speed up the process on things that you're already familiar with. That way you can tell if it's outputting a good answer. If you already know how to do it, it's easier for you to verify the answer. And then order your life around calmness and chill because chaos is hard to code through. I agree with that 100%. Stillness is the goal. Like if we are a pendulum that constantly swings between, this is awesome and this absolutely sucks, the goal is to make that pendulum swing less and to allow it to be more still, and using AI in this practice to keep us from getting too attached to I'm the best coder in the world as well as I know nothing about code, and allowing us to be more still so that we can be more focused with our energy, and being more focused allows us to be more potential with it. It's about it for me, I guess. Otherwise, just have fun. Yeah, I really like how you're orienting it around, like, one, you highlight your relationship with AI. Two, you know how you're using your AI in terms of what you know and what you don't know. Three, you make sure that you orient your life into your practice and talk about how your life engages with your practice. And you also talk about having fun and enjoying and not making it too serious of a practice. It's important that we stay sincere, but not to the point that we become robotic machines and get rid of the one thing that we have, which is our authenticity and our emotions and our soul. Final comment from Joshi right now. Never believe the hype. Believe in the way you've chosen and the research that you've done. I agree with that. I get a very specific case study of what Joshi just said. Today, the Vercel SDK came out with reasoning and MCP tools right inside of the Vercel AI SDK. And I sent the link to the tweet to Sid, and Sid's immediate reaction was, we need to put this in now. We need to rush now. And so my first instinct is, let's define out the tickets. So I defined the tickets. And then I immediately saw that there were two. If we were going to switch over to this, it would mean that we got rid of LangChain. And so then I tried to push the brakes on with Sid saying, are we sure that we want to make this change? I heard that Sid was reacting out of the current context and the hype. And I wanted us to slow down to think more principled. Like what you say, the hype is flashy and it makes us think we need to move now to capture the opportunity. But in reality, moving fast to capture the opportunity, while you might get more likes on whatever you're building today, you're most likely not. Fast moving as fast as you can is not going to be something that builds a long, sustainable practice. The best outcome for that is most likely either you blow up on a certain day, like positive attention, and also you're practicing and understanding the knowledge in an applied way rather than theory. But does the change you're making actually matter? Less hype. Less hype. Customize. Let's move me back. I'm no longer able to move my PFP. Oh, now I can. There we go. All right. So we have the server running. Let's see if it works for running a new agent. We're going to run it on myself again just to see how it does. Let's see if we crash or if we finish. We got back an agent ID at least. Social records are being updated. Fetching posts on Twitter. Now it's creating Instagram social records. Fetching posts for Instagram. Looks like it just finished TikTok social records scraping, and now it's also fetching posts on TikTok. We just got back all of my Instagram posts, and then we saved all those posts and we connected them to my profile. Now we're getting all of the comments for all of my posts on Instagram. We got all my comments. And now it's enhancing the profiles. And then we got back our TikTok videos, and then our TikTok comments are being fetched. We don't have any, I don't think, so that should be fast. It just finished enhancing all the profiles. We're missing a social ID for all of them. Social record updated successfully. Instagram just finished. My big question is, did it actually save these people correctly? Are these actually Sammy Waves videos? Let's check one of them out. If this is correct, this should be a profile named Sammy Wave. We landed on something of consent. I don't want to review. It didn't take me where I wanted to go, so we'll try going back directly to what I'm trying to see. This is Sammy Wave, a post from 2024, so it was a long time ago. Let's check out this post. Also from 2024. Has she posted anything new is the next question. Are these her most recent posts? It looks like we do have her most recent posts. Her third post might actually be something recent. Let's check if we get O Magnolia as the third post here. This is O Magnolia. So it looks like we are properly getting all of Sammy's posts. Did we save her posts is the question. So can we go to table editor and then go to social posts? Well, first we need socials. So that way we can get Sammy's profile ID. Excuse me, babe. I know you want to come up here to say hi. I am currently in the middle of coding. Hi, Mama. Oh, you're so cute. You're such a cute little kitty. So here's the social ID. We can copy the ID and go do social posts. And inside of social posts, we can filter by social ID. Social ID equals this value. And I don't see any posts for this artist, which tells me that while we are getting them, we're not saving them. Let me check out her social profile again, just to make sure that we are saving all of her correct social info. Sammy Wave, no region, but we've got our Instagram profile, we got our bio, we got our following, followers. Updated at was today, a couple minutes ago. Let's go back and see the scraping process. It looks like the avatar has been uploaded to IPFS. I'm not sure why social ID is undefined, but at least it's there. TikTok, it looks like we just finished and now it is generating segments. And we just finished everything. All right, let's go back to the roadmap. The organization seems like it has been successful. Could you please now update your Scratchpad to properly implement step 59? Thanks, Joshi. I see that you just said you like my take. All right. checking out Scratchpad. It's going to update its Scratchpad, and now it's going to start implementing step 59 again. Let's just accept. Find wherever this starts. Here it is. Current state, when scraping Instagram fan profiles, we get their latest post data. This data is currently not being saved to Supabase. We already have infrastructure for storing posts and connecting them to socials. Analyze the current flow. What? Stop. Check enhance authors with avatar to see what post data is available. I'll help analyze the current flow, and update the Scratchpad. I'll also need to check what post data is available from Instagram profiles. We've analyzed the flow, called during the comment processing to enhance the author profiles, uses enhance authors with avatar. It only updates social records with profile data. Best place after enhance authors with avatar in the enhance comment socials. That makes sense. We have both social record and post URLs at this point. Well, can store posts before updating the social records. Allows parallel processing of posts and profile updates. Enhance the profiles is being called inside of enhance comment socials. And then we update the social. Ooh, here we're only calling, wait, this doesn't even exist. I'm surprised this even worked. Agent service.create update. Oh, update social. Update social is probably still a thing. Do we return anything inside of enhance? No, we don't return anything. I suggest not making updates to enhance authors with avatars and instead return post URLs, return the enhanced profiles with post URLs, return from then in app pilot controller, make a new step for saving fan posts. Had to reflect on the implications of my suggestion. Instead of making it a pointed statement, ask it as a question to change how we are thinking about it. If you make a pointed statement, it becomes very much a defined view of reality, but if we change it to a question, it changes the thought pattern to allow more space for creativity, which is my goal. I would like to not assume that I know the answer and instead create space where I can have a conversation and learn something that I wasn't already considering. Keep unchanged implications of handling fan posts instead of modifying that. Advantages maintains the single responsibility principle. That was my goal. Better separation of concerns, profile enhancement versus post storage. Easier to test and maintain. Each function has a clear limited scope, more flexible. Implementation impact. We need to modify the enhanced comment socials to return the enhanced profiles instead of void. That makes sense. Add a new step in pilot controller after the profile enhancement. We can leverage the existing agent service store post method. It's a clear status tracking for fan post processing. Updated flow, enhanced authors with avatar returns profiles with post URL, enhanced comment socials returns enhanced profiles instead of void. The pilot controller first processes the profile updates, then handles the fan post storage as a separate step. It can run these operations in parallel if needed. I don't know how it's going to do that. This approach aligns better with the codebase's architecture and makes the feature easier to maintain and extend. Update the return type. Yep, let's proceed. Proceed with implementing the first step of the revised plan. Just copy exactly what it suggested, paste it, delete the question mark, and we execute. I've got an hour and a half before my next meeting. Okay, Google, set an alarm for 2:30 p.m. Solana's joining us. Solana, say hi to everybody, especially Joshi, who's been interacting with us from YouTube. This is my favorite pair programmer. My favorite pair programmer is Solana the cat, because she gives me hugs and she never questions my decisions on code. All that she says is ship it and come play with me, which is exactly what I want. Up on the desk? Not right now. It is a happy Friday, but we're doing some big code changes right now, babe. So I want to stay focused on this because I've already given you some time to play. So you can stay here, but if you want to go up on the desk, now is not the time. Nope. Indeed. All right. Successfully did it do it all. Proceed, iterate over the code base. Now we've got the pilot controller is now returning enhanced profiles, which it's doing right there. Is it doing anything else later on? Bye, Solana. I'll see you around. Okay. And then we had some changes in here, I believe. Nope, no changes there. Anything down here? Yep. And then we get the enhanced profiles, but then we don't do anything with it. And now we want to add the import for, okay. The method now returns the enhanced profiles. This completes the first step. Would you like to proceed with implementing the next step, adding the fan post processing step? Yep, definitely do that. That's what I've been waiting for. Looks like we got a new comment. Who's chatting with us? Is it Joshi? It's Mike. We got a new person entering the chat. Oh my goodness. Let me move myself out of the way. We can properly say hi to everybody. Customize. Move me up top so that I'm not blocking it. Mike.eth is the closest. I love the 3-letter ENS name, and it's very close to myco, like mycelium. And your little cat has like a mushroom cap on it. So I feel a lot of alignment with both your cats and mushroom-like branding. And so I'm glad that you jumped in today, Mike. Solana, you spelled her name perfectly. Short for SZA, the R&B musician. She was actually born before the blockchain, so it was very coincidental that her name lines up with the blockchain and was not intentional by any means. Joshi is right. She is the best shipping cat. If you see that I have a bunch of green dots, it's actually this cat behind the scenes. I don't do any coding. She's actually typing on the keyboard right now, which is why I don't show it in my live stream, because it's actually a cat writing all the code. I have 2 big mutts, and they're my favorite distractions. They aren't good for pair programmers because they will ship any changes the closer it gets to dinner time. Yeah, that's why I try to do my live streams early, because the closer it gets to mealtime or the end of the day, the less energy I have to really make the changes I want. And you can see right now, I've really branched away from the original goal that I had. And so doing this early on has given me the energy to be able to expand more instead of like what you said with your dogs. The closer it gets to dinner time, the more likely they're just going to get the code out and not worry about it being like right. Final comment before I go back to looking at what the AI has been writing. Excited for the session with Talent Protocol later too. That's awesome to hear. I'm going to tell Juanpi that you said that. I'm going to specifically tell him that you reached out because I'm sure he's aware of you and you're aware of him. And I'm just going to reinforce that social relationship between you two by letting him know when we start the live stream that people were already talking about the live stream in my live stream earlier today, including Mike.eth. Mike.eth was leaving a specific comments talking about how he was going to jump in. I'm just kind of practicing the speech so that when I jump into the actual call, I don't have to think as much because I just did that practice right now during this live stream. And with that, we're going to close the comments. Thank you, everybody who's engaging. We're going to go back to focusing on the code. I got to remember how to find myself and move myself back down to the bottom. And where are we at? Okay. Let's review what was changed. Proceed with implementing the next step. Looks like it updated one of the controllers, pilot controller. Where do we go now? Okay, process fan posts. Okay, filtering, then we got a loop. And then we store the posts. Seems like a lot, to be honest. But let's accept it. What doesn't it like about posts? Let's fix this error in chat. Okay. Were there any other files changed, or was it just pilot controller? It looks like it was just pilot controller that needed to get updated. So we're converging on a smaller set of changes, which is great. We expanded a lot earlier on with the new features, and now we're slowly converging on these final set of changes. The last thing I really need to verify is that we're saving comments for the profiles that are being scraped. And now that I got someone like Joshi and Mike jumping in, I'm actually going to highlight their profiles in the tests instead of using my own, because these are other profiles of independent creators that are about the same size as I am, which means that they're not so big that the testing is going to take an hour, and they're not small enough that I'm not going to be able to pick up any data. They're this nice middle-sized creator where it's a massive creator class that has less than 100K followers, we'll call it, but more than 1,000 followers. It's this nice central area where there's a lot of people that are in this area, and these are the types of creators in my mind that are primed to take advantage of the creator economy that we are currently a part of. All right, what happened? Looks like we've hard-coded Instagram in here. Instagram is the platform, which makes sense for now because this task is focused on Instagram, period. Have you already filtered the pilot controller so that it only calls this process fan post function for Instagram? to make sure that this is not called for other platforms? Question mark. Or would it make more sense to use the actual platform instead of hard coding Instagram, so this is more flexible to any of the platforms we're scraping? Question mark. I just talk. I talk. I think. I write. Do I do any coding? Not really. Is this coding, what I'm doing right now? It looks like you hard coded Instagram as the platform, which makes sense for now because this task is focused on Instagram. Have you already filtered the pilot controller so that it only calls this process fan posts function for Instagram to make sure that this is not called for other platforms? Or would it make more sense to use the actual platform instead of hard coding Instagram, so this is more flexible to any of the platforms we're scraping? It's an incorrect form of were, but I think the LLM will understand that. Process platform. We can get the platform from the profile URL. Yep. Let's use them. Good call, sir. All right, now it's actually getting the correct social profile. Where'd it go? Note the typo. Yeah, we have 333 Apple in there. What are you changing? Let me see that diff. Platform is valid platform. Nice. Any other changes lower down? I'm seeing some green. Just want to make sure there's no others. Looking good. Let's accept it. I want to quickly verify that triple P in Apple and get that fixed. Get social platform by link is returning triple P Apple instead of Apple. However, we're never using Apple, so that should be deleted. We're also never using YouTube, so that should be deleted. We only have 4 right now: X, Instagram, Spotify, and TikTok. So this is perfect. Comment inputs never being used. We can delete that. Run agent. All right, let's just run it and see if it works. Update socials called process fan posts here. So we filter, get social link by platform, and then we call the agent service to store posts again. This should be the second time that we're calling this here. Once inside of process, the main artist posts, and then we also store it for each of the fans. Let's see if this works. Crash my server, restart the server, and now we're going to run this finally to see if we are actually storing. And so let me see if I can pull up Mike. Main question is, does Mike have an Instagram profile? So let's check out Twitter. I'll do this over here so that everybody can see what I'm doing. Twitter. Let's look up Mike.eth. Getting a little bit lost in the social because I lack discipline. And now let's look up Mike.eth. Mike Crypto Dev. Let's see if this person has an Instagram. Is Mike Crypto Dev an account on Instagram? Nope. Let's try searching for the name and see if something else comes up. Let's try Mike.eth here. No, I'm not seeing an Instagram account for this person. So Mike, if you do have an Instagram, let me know. Otherwise, I guess I'll keep testing with myself because I know that I have a profile. Are we running? We are running. Where's Postman? Here's Postman. Let's run it. All right, let's see what happens. Scraper's running. We've scraped the profiles. We've set up our artists. We're now scraping more profiles for videos, I believe. First, we scrape the musician that we want to scrape. Then we look up all of their posts. Then we get all of the comments on all of their posts, which it seems like that's where we're at. We're right now still getting the posts. For Instagram, we just got our posts. And now for Instagram, we're getting the comments. We need to do that same transition on TikTok. Fetching 5 Instagram profiles. We just finished TikTok scraping. I'm sorry, we just finished Twitter scraping. And now we're looking up those profiles for everybody that commented on Instagram. And it looks like we have just saved everybody's videos. Let's see if that's the case. Let's try looking up each of these. Let's try Steph first because Steph and I work pretty closely together. Let's look up socials. Filter by username is Guerrero Steph. Here we go. Let's copy her ID and let's go to social posts. And from here, let's try filtering on not ID, but social ID is equal to Steph's social ID. Maybe I didn't copy it right. Oh no, it looks like I did. Apply the filter. Still nothing. 0 records. Storing posts. Okay, but we're getting an undefined social ID. So let's highlight that and double back. Let's highlight everything that we're getting with an undefined social ID. Copy this. To the social profile. Gonna give it all the logs. While it's thinking, I'm gonna quickly run to the bathroom, and I'm hoping that it just starts. I'm gonna make sure that it doesn't get stuck on a sequential thinking tool call first. Okay, it looks like it's gonna get started, so I'll be right back. All right, where are we at? Did it finish? It actually wrote some code. Nice. These socials should have already been created. Why did you add a call to at create socials? Haven't we already called this for, where's that step? Haven't we already called this in create initial comment socials? Create initial comment social is called first to create social records for all comment authors at once. This happens before we process any fan posts. The second call, we're processing fan posts one at a time. We need the social ID. Even though we've created, we need to get this ID. The upsert operation is safe. While it might look redundant, the second call is necessary to get the social ID that we need. Do we already get that social.id data from if yes, why add more DB calls? Well, let's stop that. If no, why not update to return more info to reduce the number of DB queries we need to make? You made an excellent point. Let's check what create initial comments returns. I see that the create initial already creates the social records and returns a map of username to social ID. We're just not making full use of this data. You're absolutely right. We're making unnecessary database calls. We should either use the existing social map in process fans or update to return the full social records along with the map. Let's propose a fix to use the existing social map and eliminate the redundant calls. That sounds like a great change. And did you actually implement this? I don't think you actually implemented that change. And update the call. Implement the optimization, please. Same functionality, fewer redundant calls, using the existing data, improved performance. It's what we like to hear. Less is more, simple is best, small is beautiful. The same principle is applied into many different problems, into many different contexts. It's what we like about a fundamental truth. You can take small, simple, raw primitives and apply it in multiple different contexts. Just like an AI agent can take a simple tool or a set of tools and use them to solve any specific problem. If you can acquire a useful set of tools that are effective at solving the problems you encounter in your daily practice, it allows us to use less energy to achieve the same goals with more focus and intention on those goals that we've selected for ourselves. Again, the principle is less is more, simple is best, small is beautiful. Okay, so we're now passing in the social map and we get the social ID. So no need to create socials now because those socials already exist. And then we store the posts. Okay, it looks like we're trying to get this error fixed. What else is missing? It's missing a bunch of properties. What's it going to try to do? It's casting it as a DB social. What is store posts? Let's go to the agent service. Because if we only need the social ID, we should just do that so that it's easier. Pilot controller, close others. Let's open up agent service. Agent service. The function that we are calling is store posts. So let's find the store posts. Store posts is taking in a social. How is it using social? It's getting the platform from the URL. And we're getting the ID. We need the ID. We need the ID in the URL. And how is connect post to socials used? Social, what is used from social? Is it just the ID? If it's just the ID, we could reduce this in complexity and make it just a social ID. Only ID, only ID. Yeah, it's only using the ID. So let's change this to social ID, which is just a string. How many times is connect post to social called? It's only called inside of agent service. And so here we can update this to be social ID. No more errors inside of this function. We can get rid of this import of the social type. And now inside of agent service, inside of params.social, this can be params.social.id. And now again, all that we're using here is social ID and platform. And is platform just used for the logs? Console log, console error, console log, console error. It looks like it's only used in logging. So it's not actually needed. And we should be able to assume it from one of the post URLs. So instead of platform coming from profile URL, it could come from params.posts, params.posts, post URL. And now we're only using from social, we're only ever using social ID, which means that I can now update this. Instead of needing a DB social, we can make this just social ID, and then it becomes a string instead of an entire object. And here we can say params.social ID. Here we can say params.social ID. Okay. And now wherever this is called, what's wrong with this? We need to fix the type for the agent types. And I'm talking for store posts. That should have fixed that error. That error is now fixed. Now where's store post called? Because now all that it needs is the social ID. It's called inside a pilot controller. And here all that we need is social ID. What are you doing? What's already been changed here? DB social, which I don't think we need anymore. Something down here. Let's keep moving forward with this change. Accept this change. Existing social, where's this coming from? Existing social. Did we now get rid of, where's DB social used? Hopefully this isn't used anywhere. Where's the social being used? Store posts. And so now this should be social ID. And now we're not even using this social, so we can totally get rid of it. Are there any other changes that I haven't seen here? This we don't need, so we'll reject it. What other changes have we not accepted? Enhanced profiles and the map. That looks good. All right, I think we're good here. Let's try running it again. Crash the server, rerun the server. We're iterating one pass at a time. All right, let's run it again. Let's see what happens this time. Music is so good. Very grateful to be working with music all day. Okay, we got our Instagram post. Now we got our Instagram authors. The question is, are we actually going to get their social profiles back this time? We've already stored the comments. We're now augmenting them. We're still seeing undefined there. However, it looks like now it is actually storing them with the social ID. We just finished Instagram. We should be able to already look up Steph's profile again and see actual data this time. It's auto refreshing. We now have 12 records. At this point, we have actually stored all of Steph's posts. Let's go back to socials. Let's look up another person on our list. So we checked out Steph. Guerrero Steph. Let's try simply set the power. Filter username to simply set the power. Simply set power, maybe. There's his profile. Let's go over to social posts. Instead of filtering on Steph, let's filter on simply see the power. It looks like we also have their post as well. Let's check one more artist. Let's check Sammy Wave because we checked her earlier and we were not able to find her. Where's Sammy Wave? Right there. Go back to socials, filter by Sammy's social. Sammy's a musician down here in Buenos Aires. And so this is we're checking a broad swath of accounts here. We've checked Sammy, who's a musician. Well, we're checking Sammy, who's a musician. We've checked Steph, who is a music, she works in the music industry at a record label called 1RPM. And we've also checked Simply Seth Power, and I don't know who they are. But it does look like we now have Sammy's posts. Let's check one of these just to make sure. Copy the content, go to a new tab. Let's verify that we do have this post. Is this a real post? There's a real post from Sammy Wave. All right, so we are now storing fan posts. We finally achieved our goal. It only took us close to 3 hours. Let's open up the roadmap. Let's get these changes pushed and we'll start on our review. Copy all this. Go over here, paste it. Are we on our branch? Store fan posts. Let's add it all. There's a lot of changes. Sync the changes. I can crash this server. Oh, whoop. We weren't done. It was just starting comment generation. Oh, well. Let's assume it worked. Okay. And we'll put an X in here. And now we can go back to GitHub and let's open up our pull request. It should auto prompt us to open up a poll. There's our pull request automatically being identified. Create the pull request, and now we copy the URL and head over to Slack. Copy the URL, figure out wherever I put Slack. There's Slack, we'll move it on the far right. Oh, I never shared that we shipped. Did we ship? Hashtag recoup, put in the link, add in our ticket, go over to Linear, copy the ticket name. Ticket. I think this has already been shipped, so it should be fast. Yeah, I already merged this. I feel a little obnoxious having the electronic music playing, but I'm in a vibe right now. This is not normal. So if this is your first time watching me and you're seeing me like dancing with this electronic music, this is not normal. I usually don't have electronic music playing. I usually have more like ambient music. And I'm also usually not dancing. I'm usually very focused on the code. I think I'm still focused on the code. Let's highlight a musician. All right, let's review our code changes. All right, pilot controller, we have updated with create initial comment socials method. Create initial comment socials inside of our pilot. We get the unique authors, and then we create the socials for those authors. Does create socials already do that handling? Do we need this create initial comment socials? And like, do we need that function? My goal is to reduce the amount of unnecessary code. I guess it does convert it from comments to authors, but it just seems like there's so much extra. Like, how long is this function? This function is going from line 150 down to line 194. So it's 40 lines of code. Let's read what its logic is. Analyze currently the flow. We've got our create initial comment social, store comments, enhance comments, process fan post. If we removed it and called, we would break the flow since store comments requires a social map parameter. The social records need to exist before we store the comments. Yeah, I know. So while it seemed like we could simply remove, it's actually necessary. All right, let's leave it. It's got a debug. We get the unique authors. We create the socials, and then we return the social map. Enhance comment socials. Could we move these out of the controller and into a lib? And enhance comment socials. Move these function definitions out of the controller and into standalone lib files. Function definitions out of the controller and into standalone lib files. I at least think create initial comments we can do that for. This one maybe not because it's calling the agent service. Maybe not. Yeah, I'm curious how it's going to do this one. One more comment from Yashi. Joshi saying, keep vibing. Watching other programmers flow is pretty awesome to me. Just keep flowing. I'll keep this up for a little while. Where's agent service being imported from? Are we just importing agent service? Maybe I can just import agent service like that. Pilot controller, we removed create initial comments and enhance comment social. So many lines of code just removed, just like that. Let's accept the file. Like this is just long. It's like 500 lines of code. I don't want this to get any longer. Process platform is the longest file. Could process platform also be moved? Where's this dot agent service defined? Is there any benefit of making a this dot agent service instead of just directly calling agent service? Like I think we just want run agent. Process fan post I would also like to move to a different. Can all of the private functions be moved into libs, I guess is my main question. Can all private functions in @pilot controller be moved to standalone libs? Let me make sure it doesn't note any. It moves the functionality into dedicated libs, makes it more modular and reusable, follows the single responsibility principle, makes the controller slimmer and more focused on orchestration, makes it easier to test these functions in isolation, makes it easier to modify the social creation enhancement without touching the controller. Loving it so far. Yes, all private functions can be moved. Let's analyze each one. Process fan post, process platforms. Are all platforms complete? Update all agent statuses and process platform. It's great. Process fan post. This one's going to be a long one. We're putting them all inside of the Supabase folder, which I don't like. Let's collapse this Supabase folder and see what other folders we have. Update all agent statuses. Process platform. It's going to be a long one for sure, because it does like all the orchestration. And now process platforms, plural. This is getting way easier to read just because it's all separated out into standard files, single files. And now finally, we're going to go back to the pilot controller, and I'm hoping this is going to make this pilot controller. Right now, it's 540 lines of code. Can we get this down in terms of lines of code? Let's see how short it gets now that we have removed all of those extra files. Well, all those libs have now been separated. Not too much, not that much shorter. Looks like we still have a process platforms function here, which is actually not being used. We haven't fully replaced it yet. So that being said, I think I can manually delete this. I'm just going to accept this. Looks like we're potentially like right around 100 lines of code, which is exactly what I want. Did it re-add on all that code I just deleted? No, it deleted it for me. 180 lines, and we can still make it shorter. Did we just go from a 500 line file down to less than 100 lines? This is exactly what we want to be doing. And we're no longer even using this agent service. We're not even using it anymore. Let's get rid of it. We can get rid of platform config because that's not being used anymore. Get rid of request schema because that's not being used anymore. Look at all this. Just get rid of all the code. Our controller is getting way simpler. Get rid of all these unused imports. Big question is it still going to work? It's easy for me to delete all this and say, look at how simple it is. We've got a pilot controller. It has a public function of pilot, and it calls it to update all agent statuses to initial, process the platforms, checks if they're all complete. This is looking perfect. Why are we updating them all to initial is what I don't understand. Let's check what the pilot method was doing before. Let's revert. Let's check what the pilot method was doing before. Before it was called run agent. Yeah, we should process platforms. We shouldn't be setting all the agent statuses to. Oh no, did I lose it? Uh-oh. I might have just lost those changes. Dang it. Okay, I'm gonna have to redo all those changes. So it looks like it changed from run agent to pilot. So we go through again and delete this. We shouldn't need to do this step. It should just be process all platforms. Are all platforms complete? Update all agent statuses if they're all complete. Is this ever gonna generate the segments though? Let's go back again, and I want to also verify where the segment names are being generated. Segment, generate segments. We need these 3 calls. It's Command Z until we get back to that option. Let's accept. All right, back here again. We're going to collapse and delete. Process fan post has been deleted. Inside of here, we actually want to go segments, generate segments for the account, and then go finished. And we don't care about this step. So now we process a platform, we check if they're complete. If they are complete, then we generate the segments. This is perfect. It's super clean. We're no longer using this agent service. We can get rid of it. And we should be able to delete all of this. Okay. Going to get rid of these comments because they are very redundant, seeing how clean this code looks now. Before I move further, let's check if it works. Crash everything. Let's try starting it, and let's see if I'm able to go. I've had Joshy's comment up for a while, so I'm just going to take it down because I forgot it was even there. And I'm going to move myself back down to the bottom left. Interesting. What happens if I make me a little circle? I can be a little circle too. Look at me, I'm a little circle. Or I could be square. I'm usually that. We could be a vertical. I think I'm usually here, so we'll keep it over here. Nope, we don't want it any bigger. Radius. I like the rounding. Let's make it 22. Get a little bit of angel numbers. There we go. And names off. Nah, keep names on just in case. Okay, so routes is incorrect. It's still trying to call run agent, so we'll go to routes. I mean, I think it should be called run agent. I don't know why it's called pilot. Run agent. Let's try it again. Ready to test again. Run the test. Let's see if we get, whoa, agent ID and platforms. Okay, so the base level requirements have changed. I don't like that. What did we originally have here? Handles and artist ID, validation results dot data. And we're missing a call to create agent. Where is that create agent call? After we create the agent created, and then we respond. Yeah, we're missing quite a few things. Let's take them one at a time. Let's get the request schema and keep that so that we can validate it. Undo all the changes. And let's add that type back. Import Z from Zod. Handle schema is missing. So we'll save this, and now let's Command Z until we get back to where we were. Did I already miss it? Request schema, handle schema. Let's copy this, go all the way to the end. And now we should be able to highlight all this, paste. All right, now we've got the request schema, but we're missing the validation step. So we'll go all the way back until we get back to are we validating console log, and then we got the validate result. That's what I want. We'll copy that. Let's go back to where we are. I think we made it all the way. So now we can paste that. And if we get to here, I'm going to save this. And now let's Command Z until we figure out what we do with the validation results. Validation results, and then we should have a call to create agent. Let's get this, and then we should be good. Let's see if this is enough to finish up these manual updates that we're making. Delete this. And then here we can go agent.id. Agent is possibly null. Okay, what else happens before we call process platforms? Stop. Process platforms. Run agent, where's process platforms called? Create an agent. Where's process platforms? Process platforms is coming from handles. So we'll take this, and now let's undo all the changes. And now instead of process platforms, get rid of this call. Should have platform and handle. That doesn't sound right. Solana's back. She wants to come up on my desk. The question is she trying to tell me something? Or does she just want to spend time with me and she just wants my attention? Are you trying to tell me something? Or is this just your way of saying you want my attention? Please modify at process platform in to use the handles passed from the controller. Nope, not on the desk, baby. It's very funny. As soon as I turn the camera on the kitty, I've got my numbers go up a little bit. It's like the comments and the number of views. You guys really like just the little kitty. Nope. Nope. You done with all my BS? You gonna go away? There she goes. and she's gone. All right, did you update it? Yeah, this is what I wanted. This is what we're doing. Let's accept this. And now pilot controller is hopefully fixed. Oh yeah, we've got a comment. She's a cat, so no one will ever know. Yeah. None of you realize I'm actually not a dev. I'm actually 3 cats in a trench coat. But you don't need to know. As long as code's getting shipped, it doesn't matter if I'm a cat or a human or whatever. No more errors? Nope, we've still got one more error. Is it missing import? Function lacks ending return statement and return does not include undefined. Whatever it just changed, it fixed the error. Feeling way better about how this code is looking. Let's try running this again. Crash the server, rerun the server. 8 minutes until our code review starts between me and Sid, or not our code review, but our weekly live stream. So I'm really trying to wrap this up. Big architecture change I'm making it more modular, following the single responsibility principle, trying to prevent super deep dug and highly coupled mechanisms and trying to decouple and make everything simpler and more modular so that it can run in parallel and give us more flexibility to change around how the system operates. Let's execute and see if we... Nope, this is already not it. We should be getting back instantly the stop. We need to update this so that the second creating the agent, we need to return a successful 200 response so that the API call gets a response quickly and then continue processing the rest of the function in the background after you've already sent the API response. Immediately after creating the agent, we need to return a successful so that the API can get a response quickly and then continue processing the rest of the function in the background after you already sent the API response. That's exactly what we want. Let's send this and see if we get any updates. Modify the code, return a quick response, continuing processing in the background. Perfect. We return. So it sounds like we want to remove this final return, maybe. No, I'm still not getting it. I don't like this async function that's getting called. Like, did that serve any purpose? Looks like it did not serve any purpose. Get rid of some of these comments. All right, how many lines of code we got? 107, it's about accurate. Save this. Any more errors? Looks like we're good. Let's try running this again. How am I doing on time? I've got 3 minutes till my next stream, so I'm running right up on the time. Not really giving myself much downtime between my streams. Okay, we got our port. Try firing it. Let's see if we get a response. We got a faster response. Agent successfully created. And what? Did it already do it? Unknown platform. No, it looks like we have failed. So I'm going to need to spend more time on this after my call. I was not able to get this out the door. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap up the stream. If you tuned in this long, congrats. You are a champ. We've been coding live for 3.5 hours straight with no breaks. If you tuned in, please leave a like, give us a follow, leave a comment down below.